was the very first time such a thing was happening. And the expectation from the court, despite also delivering the judgment, was that at least whatever pronouncements it makes will set a precedence in jurisprudence, that this will be referred to going forward, that whatever pronouncements they make. Fine, the judges said that they prioritize practicality, especially when they say that if at all the judgment goes any other way, there was a risk of having a dual incumbency, that if at all they nullify the impeachment, the result would, that we would be having 2 deputy presidents was real. They appear to have been very careful not to cause a crisis. But don't you think that they caused a problem when they awarded this 50 million shillings and said that his rights had been violated? Then that leaves what we are now dealing with, what everyone is referring to as an absurdity.
Not really. You know, I listened to Dr. Mbai and the few people who are going around media and social media trying to interpret this in political terms, and I sympathize with them. And then, you know, here I speak as a student of constitutional law, that in constitutional interpretation, there are 2 things that must be separated. And that is that the findings of the court on the, you know, the impeachment process. And 2, if they found that there is any violation of Rigathi Gachagua's right, what remedy would they grant him? Okay, those are 2 separate things. Mm-hmm. Now, with regard to the the impeachment process, the court found that by and large, substantively, the process of the impeachment was sound. Okay, it found that the process in Parliament was valid, public participation was valid, that you know, the confirmation by the Senate was valid. It dismissed all the, you know, peripheral claims that Rigathi Gachagua and his legal team had all the peripheral
on the
claims,
violation of his
save for the issue of fair hearing. Okay, and I want you to listen to me here. Fair hearing is a constitutional right. It is considered as a fundamental right. Okay, and that when violated, the Constitution must give a remedy. Okay, and that is what Article 25(3) presupposes. Mm-hmm. However, it is also important to look at Article 25 wholesomely. And the fact that Article 25 not only talks about fair hearing, but talks about the issue of slavery, torture, and cruelty, and talks about the issue of habeas corpus. Okay? Then when you go to Article 23, Article 23 gives the remedies that a court might give, a constitutional court might give. And those remedies is not a single remedy. It gives, you know, a chain of remedies. One is the possibility, is declaration that a violation has occurred. Which declaration happened? That one of the claims by Rigathi Gachagua that it was fair hearing, his rights were violated. Okay? Then it gives possibility of damages. Okay? The remedy of damages is what the court invoked. There are also the remedies on judicial review. And judicial review include remedies like, you know, certiorari, mandamus, and prohibition.
And you've lost that, Kelly.
No, I want you, there is something I'm trying to push here that you need to. So what the article says is the appropriate, it talks about appropriate remedy. Mm-hmm. Okay? It does not give a provision for an automatic remedy. And the appropriate remedy must be looked at in context, because this same judgment found that Kindiki had been properly elected into office, okay? And that the impeachment process was complete. The context, therefore, does not allow for, giving Rigathi Gachagua the right to fairing in a way that nullifies all the other constitutional processes that had been found to be valid.
Okay.
Okay.
I do have a question with regard to what you've just said, but even as I want to pose a question, I'd like to welcome Madam Sabina Chege to the set. Madam Sabina, karibu sana. She's a member of the National Assembly and would be key to this conversation as well. Good morning. As we continue discussing this setting a precedent, because the impeachment of a deputy president should and would be the same process as the impeachment of a president. Immediately, an impeachment of a president happens before the National Assembly and it goes to the Senate. It means that he can no longer hold office and his deputy ascends to that position. Then during this hearing in the National Assembly and the Senate, his right to a fair trial is violated. It would be the same issue, that now the court cannot return him, cannot annul the impeachment because there would be a crisis of two presidents. But yet there was a violation in as far as fair trial is concerned. Don't you think that that is a precedent we've set?
And that's what I'm trying to tell you, that if you look...
You can just pay him off and say, okay, fine.
If you look at the various limbs of Article 25, it includes, as I've mentioned, habeas corpus. It includes slavery, it includes torture, it includes fair hearing, and I think there's a fourth one. The issue is that even in the issue of habeas corpus, okay, it is possible that when you go to court on the writ of habeas corpus, you will not automatically get, restitution in integrum. And restitution in integrum means you are restituted to the position you held before the alleged violation. Okay? Because that person might be dead, or that person might have already been released. Okay? And so in such a case, or in a case in which probably there was police torture, the best that the court can give, just like in this one, is damages. Okay? Because there are certain things that cannot be restituted. Then allow me then to complete this. The fundamental finding of the court, the issue of fair trial is peripheral.
Is it?
The fundamental finding of the court.
Fair trial is peripheral.
Fair trial is peripheral without diminishing the right of Rigathi Gachagua to fair trial. The court found that the impeachment process was valid. The court found that the processes, save for that peripheral element of fair trial, simply because he sought an adjournment. His lawyer sought an adjournment that he is unavailable. That he is sick. But the same judgment, if you listen to it or read it, then mention that the court threw out the treatment papers that had been filed by Dr. Gigonyo.
Okay.
Basically, that meant that even the basis upon which he was seeking adjournment was basically thrown out. Okay? My hunch is that if Rigathi Gachagua attempts to appeal this matter, and Senate and Parliament files a cross appeal, most likely the Court of Appeal will find that on the basis of the fact that his treatment papers had been thrown out as being unreliable as evidence, there's therefore no evidentiary basis for
as you said,
even the issue of the adjournment.
That's a hunch.
Okay?
That's a hunch.
That's a very...
Okay.
And therefore, my view is that Rigathi Gachagua might even lose the 50 million shillings he has been given.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at National Assembly and the Senate because this process is basically based there.